Go on with it, go on with it. Blessings all for my life, man. My thank God for the journey, the earnings, and just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. Blessings fall by my right hand.
Oh, baby. Hey. You okay? You woke up screaming.
Did I?
Yeah.
Guys, it's your favorite mystic, TheSirenSayz, and welcome back to my channel. A place where we speak about movie, TV, and very soon to come books and everything that I like, dislike, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything all throughout and in between. Those brains of media. Okay, this should have been out today, which is when I'm filming, which is Saturday, but complications, all right. But I wanted to just immediately give out some disclaimers and get into it. This was almost the kind of episode I could have made notes for, but I might just make one other video in relation to this episode. Maybe just one other video. Let's see. We'll see. Because there's a scene that I feel like needs to be separated and, you know, spoken about in very good detail, because you know what? I think the team deserves that. Like, y'all deserve that for what I just saw. And if you guys have watched even just 3 of my videos, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. Yeah. So, disclaimers, all right? These people are not real. We're not talking about the actors. It doesn't matter what they say or do not say in real life. We do not care, okay? Any dislike or love that we're showing, it's towards these characters, all right? Tyronius, Perinius, you keep playing with us. Yes, I'm gonna watch Divorce in the Black and talk about it while also trying to even just start editing the video that I have for Mea Culpa. No, I didn't forget about it. I just haven't gotten around to figuring out how I'm gonna do that video yet. Anyways, just start. Let's just get into it. Let's just start. Immediately, Andrea Barnes is freaking out about the threat that Gary posed on her, saying, "You gonna marry me or else, or else, or else." And it's echoing in her head, and she's scared, you know. She's scared for her boo thing. She's scared for herself. She's just scared in general. And I understand. Even though I don't like her, I'm not going to like be down on her in this moment just because I don't like her. That doesn't really make any sense. You know what I mean? I just don't really like her. But I feel like with this particular thing, I guess it's okay. You guys know how I feel about the mafia storylines, and I separate things between slice of life or mundane versus mafia, meaning it might be crazy and dramatic, but it's slice of life, it's mundane, it's something that you should expect from a show like this, versus mafia where everything is over the top and it makes no sense or to the story. You know, like, it's not every day you get involved with somebody who has mafia connections. You know what I mean? Like cartel connections. Like, you don't, like, where are we living? Tyler Perry. Okay. So she's feeling a way about that. We move on very quickly. New love interest alert. So there is a member of the bank manager sect, the court of owls of the bank, and he is taking an interest in Sabrina. I can see he's taking an interest. I don't care if she's like, oh, he's just doing the article for me. Yeah, the first conversation you had with him is that you want kids and he wants kids too. Let's segue for a second. You guys know that I have complained back and forth, up and down, all around, about how these girls, all of them, except Karen because she's not dating anybody, but all the rest of the girls have this issue with their men. And I blame the men too, because sometimes they'd be like, huh, I had no idea you would act like this or be like this or like this. And then the girls do the exact same thing. I had no idea you would act like this, do this thing, be like this. She spends 5 seconds with this guy. She's supposed to be the one being interviewed. He don't really have to give out much information about himself, right? I said much. When you're interviewed, you have to give out some information so people feel comfortable. But like 5 seconds in, she already knows. She already knows that they are compatible in one core area. Now, there are 3 different cores that people can have. And of course, there can be more depending on how important different things are to you. But the three main cores that I brought up in my last video is religion, politics, or lack thereof, because not being into politics is a core, right? And children, whether you want them or do not want them. Those three things create the core of a person's personality. And then everything else jumps out from that, right? Are you a non-religious person who's introverted? Do you want kids but you're extroverted? But you don't believe any religions? Like different sects of personalities come in from that. You know what I mean? So she immediately found out with this guy, hey, he wants kids. Great. You see how easy that was? Anyways, he interviews her and it's going well, but then Rich comes and he's mad jealous. I thought they were kind of on a break, low-key. Not saying I would have wanted her to cheat. I don't think I want her to cheat. But it looks like they were like kind of on a break from what I was seeing. And I guess this just showed that they weren't on a break. They just are not having sex, and he took that seriously, I guess. Okay. I guess that's doable. But you guys should really break up. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Karen speaks to her mom about the trouble that she's having with Pam and the money, and her mom says something that for some strange reason has never occurred to Karen. Here's why I'm saying it's strange. Even though these characters don't get perfect characterization, they get characterization of some sort. That's why we can have opinions, be them strong or weak, right? Karen strikes me as the type of person who would have figured out what kind of money she could have gotten from Pam, since Pam was using her salon, is currently using her salon, and did use Karen's money, right? Karen's money to start her business. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is the first time you're even considering that you have something to gain from this? Like, I'm so confused as to how she did not figure out that she has something to gain from this. Why is this the first, like, why is your mother bringing this up to you and you're like, huh, I never even thought of that. Writers, keep it consistent. There should be a storyboard, just one, at least one storyboard in there. And that storyboard should have the name of all the main characters and their core personality traits. That way, when you're writing a scene, you can look back on the storyboard if you're not sure and be like, oh yes, Karen would think to tell Pam she owe her some money. Karen would think to write down a dummy contract and give it to Pam. You know, because that is within the scope of her character as seen on the storyboard. That's all I'm saying. I'm not mad, I'm just talking passionately. But yeah, I think it's really dumb that her mom was the one to bring it up to her. That's so weird to me. I feel like Karen is definitely the type who would have figured that out for herself. So that scene did not land with me. I'm so sorry. But a scene that did land with me, because I was like, huh, very interesting. Daniela and Tiffany. Hut ho. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I have to make it fun. I have to make it fun, or I'm just gonna be pissed off the whole time. So Tiffany hops in to Danny's house, you know, saying that, oh, you're not going to invite me in, ma'am? Why would she invite you in? You've been nothing but passive aggressive since the second she met you, and then you said some slick shit to your ex. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to curse. You said some slick stuff to your ex. And so she walks in. Danny, you know, she's kind of like confused. And once again, we go to blaming Danny, right? She says, look, my daughter found your Mary Jane pen. And, you know, she's like, well, I didn't give her the pen, so she took it. So Tiffany jumps up to a conclusion, hops. Bunny hop, hop. Oh, so you weren't watching her well enough for her to find it, right? Totally overlooking the fact that your daughter is a little bit of a pickpocket, right? She being an Aladdin in these streets and a boo-boo, okay? Now, you guys know my opinion. If you've watched the last 3 videos, you know my opinion on this thing between Tony, the kids, and Danny. in terms of what happened at the house. Tony sprung this on her last minute, right? Didn't give her any time to prepare and child-proof the house. Yes, child-proofing the house is a thing. Didn't give her any time to child-proof the house. And then when she got home thinking maybe she has an hour, 20 minutes to like hide certain things, he's already sitting there with the children. He didn't even give her 10 minutes to look around the house and think, all right, let me at least hide the marijuana. Let me at least hide that. She couldn't even hide it. Like, he told her, you need to watch my kids. Can you? Okay, thanks. She comes back to her house. Oh, hi, Danny. Like, he didn't give her any time. So, no, I'm not blaming Danny for this. Yes, to add an addendum, while they were there, she could have tried to sneak around and put some things around. But Brianna, whatever her name is, she's sneaky. She's curious about Danny. And she's a little girl. Little girls like to take and copy. And not take the way Brianna be taking stuff, but like they love to watch older women. Little girls like to watch older women and copy their behaviors. So Danny couldn't have walked around the house slickly with a house that small, little 1-bedroom apartment, 1-room apartment. Really the only room you have is the main room and the bathroom. She couldn't have walked around that apartment. Brianna would have seen her, and then it would have made it worse. Brianna maybe would have found something worse. And it's like, wow, worse than an SEX toy? I don't know what Danny got in there. But if Brianna had seen her hiding something, she would have been like, what is she hiding? And then she would have gone looking even harder. So no, I don't blame Danny for this particular issue. You guys know I don't necessarily like Danny anymore, but we're not going to be delusional just for the sake of delusion. So Tiffany jumping to the conclusion of, oh, you this, that. So Danny put her in her place. She said, first of all, we're not going to play this game. We're not going to play this passive-aggressive game. The issue is that you keep calling him your husband and you're trying to find things to blame me for because you want to reunite your family and you want Tony back. And the veneer dropped or became even crazier. Okay, the barbed wire with the shocks went up and she was like, yeah, once I am able to show him, and she was shady. She was like, it'll be pretty easy with how reckless you are, but once I show him, you know, who you really are, he'll leave you and be back with me. Tiffany, really, girl? I know you were married to him. That's different, you know. It's not like he's just any regular little boy. But Tiffany, what I'm gonna need you to do, okay, girl, what I'm gonna need you to do is to think critically about what you're doing. Okay, babe? Okay? Think critically. And the reason why I'm saying this, right, is because you're doing this thing I don't like, where you're fighting for somebody who's not worth fighting for. Number one, I don't really like Tony, so to give you the benefit of the doubt, Tiffany, I think you could do better. But number two, even if he was worth fighting for, he's moved on and it makes you look, I'm not going to say desperate because he was yours. You can't be desperate for somebody who was already yours. But you can be bitter. I don't know why you broke up, because they refused to give us backstories that actually matter. But, girl, move on. And please, for the love of God, do not have me sit here and watch Danny fight over a man that is not Preston. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it personally. But yeah, a very fluffed up conversation. Crazy. We'll see what's going on. Let's just talk about the criminal Gary Butters, okay? I hated this scene with a passion. Tamara came in and erased any inkling of liking I had for her, and now I want Hayden to find out that she's cheating so he can destroy her and kick her to the curb. Yes, my mind is made up and my mind has been changed by this one stupid scene. Let me tell you what I want. I'm going to tell you about the scene and what I think. First, what I want, okay? I want Hayden to find out about this, get upset, destroy her, get her out of here. Get her and Gary out of here. Destroy her. Alright. What is this scene? This scene is her walking into his office unannounced. He didn't even call for her. her trying to trump up the blackmail, and then Gary being able to trick her into proving to himself that she isn't even really trying to get money like that. She's just into him, and she's not sure how to feel about him. So to protect herself, she got some little videos and text messages. She has evidence to protect herself. Here is naive little old me thinking that she was gaining evidence to help Hayden or to get money. No, that's just a side effect. That's something that could happen. She got all of that stuff because she genuinely is attracted to Gary. Now, I'm not saying she's in love with him. I don't think she loves him. But she's attracted to him and she likes the woohoo with him. And she's so down bad for the D that she tried to protect herself because, she a thug and thugs don't cry. She had to protect herself. So, of course, Gary has always been rude to her, but he got even more rude with her. And now she's talking about, oh, I'm going to take you down. And he's like, when he said, I can use you whenever I want, the fact that she even kissed him after he just said her coochie stank. Why would you do that? He literally just said he stank. And I know he's lying. Because if her thing, like, Gary only likes women who are high class in very specific ways. Either high class looking or high class money. Obviously, she has a high class look. That's why he's sleeping with her. So obviously your coochie don't stank. But girl, I ain't touching nobody who backhand compliments me and then insults me. We're not playing that game. We're not. Stupido. Baka. Alright? Bushino. Tila. Alright? Okay, next scene. Alright, just to quickly get into it, right? Karen has a moment of growth. She had a bunch of moments of growth in this episode, actually. Let's give it to her. All right. Karen invites Zach to the ultrasound, which is what her mom told her to do because she was trying to go by herself because she didn't want the drama. Karen, I need you to understand that even though Zach does bring drama, because you and Zach are actually very alike now that I'm looking at the whole scope of everything. Even though Zach does bring drama, you also generate drama from your generator. So how about you turn your generator off before you start talking about other people? Okay, Karen? I have to throw some kind of subliminal at her. Anyways, so she invites Zach, and as a show of good faith, she tells Zach that, if he wants to bring Fatima along, he can. She's not going to fight. She's not going to be rude. She is a part of this, so if he wants to invite her, fine. Great. Zach gets very excited about that. And then Zach does something stupid. Okay? He tells Fatima what's going on. That's not the dumb part. After he tells Fatima what's going on, she's like, you should get a babysitter, which is dumb. Obviously, he could either bring the kid, or he should know as a father to bring... Okay, maybe people are going to say you have siblings, so you have at least 10% more knowledge than new parents who were only kids or whatever. But there's no way Fatima has to tell you to find somebody to watch your son. And also, where was the nanny y'all just hired? Why were you struggling to find a babysitter when you literally just hired a nanny? What, did you hire her months in advance? Like, oh, we'll hire you next month? That didn't make any sense to me. Please put down below what happened with that, because that is such a weird plot hole considering they just got a nanny last episode. Like, what? Anyways, this nigga hires Deja, right? I think that's so stupid, bro. It's crazy. It's so crazy to me. But yeah, he hires Deja. Insane. Of course, when Fatima finds out, they nearly get into a fight, but she's like, you know what, get out of my house, get out of my house, get out of my house. And he's like, she sends Michael to get some ice cream with her cousin. And he's like, oh, your cousin. She's like, yeah, my cousin. The person you should have called if you couldn't find anybody else. And I'm like, I didn't even think of her. I thought about your nanny. Where'd the nanny go? But I guess the cousin would have been a better choice. But she's like a busy woman. I ain't trying to. But yeah, that was stupid. And I was just like looking at Zach. I was just like, I'm gonna just sit here and wait for the Zach lovers. And when I say Zach lovers, I don't mean people who like Zach. I mean the people who will defend Zach even when he's so wrong it hurts. I would just wait for y'all to justify this with your nonsense. Go ahead, do it. Anyways, baka. So I'm laughing because I love scenes like this. Danny has a terrible moment with Tony. You know, she tells him what happens with Tiffany, and Tiffany chooses up. You know, he's like, you know, low key, my ex got a point. You know, I'm not on her side or anything, but like, I told you I really didn't appreciate what happened there. Which just kind of like, that's why I told her she shouldn't, like, remember when they had the argument about this already? And because she was mad at him, he decided to apologize? Not because he thought maybe he went too far. I'm not saying he's wrong to be upset about what happened with the kid, right? I'm not saying he's wrong to be upset. But to completely blame her for it, like it's all her fault and he ain't got nothing to do with it, like it wasn't actually mostly his fault, like he didn't carve out the situation, pretend like he don't know how unchild friendly this woman is. You know what I said? I remember I kept saying, like, he could have told the children to stay outside for 5 seconds, and because he should know where some of this stuff is, especially the sex toys, like, you could have hidden them. So how is it all Danny's fault when you gave her no time to childproof the house? Anyways, so he was upset with her about it initially, but then he tried to apologize to her because, you know, he was like, damn, why is she mad at me? Let me apologize then. But I didn't like the apology. I thought it was fake. I thought it was just something to tide her over so that he could get the booty after he stopped being too upset about it. And I was right. He's not actually sorry. He still thinks it's her fault. But he just wants to keep on sleeping with her and going on dates. So he was going to step on the sword and wait for her to like semi-apologize because she had to, I guess. So it's shown up here in this scene that he didn't forgive her and he wasn't sorry for what he said because he agrees with Tiffany. You see what I'm talking about, Danny? You see what I'm talking about? Okay. With Preston, you were having imaginary arguments where you would make up issues that you were having with him sometimes. Most of the time. You would make up an issue with him. Because after a while, he would fix all the real issues you had. But after a while, you're just making up stuff. Now with this guy, 3 months in, you're having serious issues that you don't even really need to have. And he's just showing how childish he is. And I have seen how childish all these men were the second they came on screen. That's why I didn't like them when I saw them. I just had to bite down my pride and try to look on the positives to like Rich. But for the rest of them, I didn't like any of them because I could see that this was fake and childish. They don't know nothing about these women and they don't really care to get too deep into it. Anyways, he concedes that he's siding with Tiffany on this because it's his kids, blah, 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 blah. Danny realizes that, you know, this is not going to go anywhere. They're just going to fight about this. They're not going to have an actual, you know, talk about this that makes any sense. So she's leaving this alone for now. I love this scene because I needed her to see that, you know, it's not all roses and butterflies with this man. Common sense is a virtue, Daniela. Anyways. So, the iconic scene that I'll make a separate video about is the conversation between Daniela and Karen. I'm so sorry, you're gonna hear my dog barking in the background. Ambient barking noises, okay? I love this. This is the culmination of what I've been waiting years to see. This is the type of scene I've also been waiting years to see. I loved the way it flowed and the things that they brought up. There were moments that, you know, Karen was something I didn't even remember that Danny did that. But I was like, you know what, Karen, you got a point. You got a point. Danny got a point. Karen got a point. They both got off. They're both wrong. They're both sorry. They both apologize. It actually feels genuine. It actually feels like they actually reset their friendship. and they're not going to be mean and rude to each other anymore. It actually feels that way. Now, I'm not saying that everything is fully restored, because Danny said some things that, you know, kind of made me go, which is why I kind of want to dissect the scene and make another video about it. But like what she said about Karen in college was a big red flag for me. Not necessarily on Karen's part, because it just shows me that Karen has always been how she is, and it's Danny who has decided to bite the bullet and sit there in this friendship, when, girl, you didn't need to be friends with her in the first place, from what I'm hearing. But anyways, it was a beautiful scene. I clapped. I felt emotional. I didn't cry, but I was like, oh my god. I felt so vindicated and happy, and joy was flowing through me watching this scene finally happen the way that it happened. This was amazing. Whoever wrote this episode, this scene is your coup de grace. This is incredible. Awesome. Now, just to speed it up and go forward really quickly. Miss Marie had some fun with Hayden. Now she's gonna have some fun with Pam. It is what it is. The ultrasound went well. There was no fights between Aiden and Zach, and we love to see that. Okay, and I think that's about it. Andy is, I don't know, trying to break up with Jordan. Like, I thought she was trying to break up with Jordan, Air Jordan, but then I was like, is she trying to break up with him, or is she trying to tell him that Gary is trying to force her to break up with him? Because at this point, just do whatever you want. I don't really care about, oh, what's the best way to get out of this. If you want to tell Jordan he's blackmailing me because he has photos of you, do that. Who cares? This show is not smart enough for me to be like, oh my god, do the smart thing. Like, I'm done doing that now. I'm really, like, I'm tired of it. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I definitely will make another video about the Karen scene, because it's very important. Let me know what you thought down below, what you think, what's going on. I will also be making a video on my favorite book coming very soon. It'll be spoilery and non-spoilery, just, you know, you can get a little bit of the gist, and then we can get right into it, okay? Because it's that good. Because I really want to start giving you guys good stories. It can't always be that I'm sitting here complaining all the time. I don't always complain. There are some videos where I'm like praising something, or, you know, just being in the middle ground, like I was in this episode sometimes, where I talk about what I really liked about something and what I didn't like. But yeah, I just want to talk about that. It is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, my sires. Susu.